whether it's a boxing lesson.
It's just by domination. I wouldn't even say by knockout. If he survives it, he survives. I'll give him credit.
The writing's on the wall. Whoever wins this is going to go on to a world title.
This is a real crossroads for both of them.
Lion! Shut up.
War on the floor. We're going to see a really good quality fight.
Big man decides it. Big man decides it. Big man can fight it, but the Lord knows it and why we try it.
You said last time Yarde was going to knock Lyndon out.
You've made up this story in your head about this spectacular jab. You won by 1 point.
You had a problem from day one.
You ain't punching nothing. I'm this close from going back to the road. That's it.
Any
That's the
closing
energy.
comments, Pat? Any?
I believe I'm going to win. Whether it's a grueling war, whether it's a boxing lesson.
It's just by domination. I wouldn't even say by knockout. If he survives it, he survives. I'll give him credit.
The writing's on the wall. Whoever wins this is going to go on to a world title.
This is a real crossroads for both of them.
Lion! Shut up.
War on the floor. We're going to see a really good quality fight.
Big man decides it. Big man decides it. Big man can fight it, but the Lord knows it and why we try it.
You said last time Yarde was going to knock Lyndon out.
You've made up this story in your head about this spectacular jab. You won by 1 point.
You had a problem from day one.
You ain't punching nothing. I'm this close from going back to the road. That's it.
Any
That's the
closing
energy.
comments, Pat? Any?
I believe I'm going to win. Whether it's a grueling war, whether it's a boxing lesson.
It's just by domination. I wouldn't even say by knockout. If he survives it, he survives. I'll give him credit.
The writing's on the wall. Whoever wins this is going to go on to a world title.
This is a real crossroads for both of them.
Lion! Shut up.
Big man decides it. Big man can fight it, but the Lord knows it and why we try it.
War on the floor. We're going to see a really good quality fight.
Big man decides it. Big man decides it. Big man can fight it, but the Lord knows it and why we try it.
You said last time Yarde was going to knock Lyndon out.
You've made up this story in your head about this spectacular jab. You won by 1 point.
You had a problem from day one.
You ain't punching nothing. I'm this close from going back to the road. That's it.
Any
That's the
closing
energy.
comments, Pat? Any?
I believe I'm going to win. Whether it's a grueling war, whether it's a boxing lesson.
It's just by domination. I wouldn't even say by knockout. If he survives it, he survives. I'll give him credit.
The writing's on the wall. Whoever wins this is going to go on to a world title.
This is a real crossroads for both of them.
Lion! Shut up.
Big man decides it. Big man can fight it, but the Lord knows it and why we try it.
War on the floor. We're going to see a really good quality fight.
Big man decides it. Big man decides it. Big man can fight it, but the Lord knows it and why we try it.
You said last time Yarde was going to knock Lyndon out.
You've made up this story in your head about this spectacular jab. You won by 1 point.
You had a problem from day one.
You ain't punching nothing. I'm this close from going back to the road. That's it.
Any
That's the
closing
energy.
comments, Pat? Any?
I believe I'm going to win. Whether it's a grueling war, whether it's a boxing lesson.
It's just by domination. I wouldn't even say by knockout. If he survives it, he survives. I'll give him credit.
The writing's on the wall. Whoever wins this is going to go on to a world title.
This is a real crossroads for both of them.
Lion! Shut up.
Big man decides it. Big man can fight it, but the Lord knows it and why we try it.
War on the floor. We're going to see a really good quality fight.
Big man decides it. Big man decides it. Big man can fight it, but the Lord knows it and why we try it.
You said last time Yarde was going to knock Lyndon out.
You've made up this story in your head about this spectacular jab. You won by 1 point.
You had a problem from day one.
You ain't punching nothing. I'm this close from going back to the road. That's it.
Any
That's the
closing
energy.
comments, Pat? Any?
I believe I'm going to win. whether it's a grueling war, whether it's a boxing lesson.
It's just by domination. I wouldn't even say by knockout. If he survives it, he survives it. I'll give him credit.
The writing's on the wall. Whoever wins this is going to go on to a world title.
This is a real crossroads for both of them.
Lion! Shut up.
War. War on the floor. We're going to see a really good quality fight.
Big man, you can size it. Big man, you can size it. Big man, you can fight it. But the Lord knows it and why if you try it.
You said last time Yarde was going to knock Lyndon out.
You've made up this story in your head about this spectacular jab. You won by 1 point.
You've had a problem from day one.
You ain't punching nothing. I'm this close from going back to the road. That's it.
Any
That's the
closing
energy.
comments, Pat? Any?
I believe I'm going to win, whether it's a grueling war, whether it's a boxing lesson.
It's just by domination. I wouldn't even say by knockout. If he survives it, he survives it. I'll give him credit.
The writing's on the wall. Whoever wins this is going to go on to a world title.
This is a real crossroads for both of them.
Lion! Shut up.
War. War on the floor. We're going to see a really good quality fight.
Big man, you can size it. Big man, you can size it. Big man, you can fight it. But the Lord knows it and why if you try it.
You said last time Yarde was going to knock Lyndon out.
You've made up this story in your head about this spectacular jab. You won by 1 point.
You've had a problem from day one.
You ain't punching nothing. I'm this close from going back to the road. That's it.
Any
That's the
closing
energy.
comments, Pat? Any?
I believe I'm going to win, whether it's a grueling war, whether it's a boxing lesson.
It's just by domination. I wouldn't even say by knockout. If he survives it, he survives it. I'll give him credit.
The writing's on the wall. Whoever wins this is going to
Ladies
go
and gentlemen, thank you for an absolute cracker. Saturday night, live on BT Sport from the Copper Box Arena. The main event, as we know, Lyndon Arthur against Anthony Yarde. Huge rematch for them. And chief support is a fight that's caught the attention of boxing fans. We have Bradley Skeet returning, resurgent, taking on Hamza Shiraz, unbeaten, the young buck coming through, and the defending WBO European Super Welterweight champion. With me up here on the top table, I have Dominic Ingle from the Winkerback Gym, the new trainer of Bradley Super Skeet. Bradley Super Skeet, of course. Welcome back, Brad. And on the other side of the table, we have all the way from LA, from the 10 Goose Boxing Gym, Ricky Funez and his young charge, unbeaten, Hamza Shiraz, the man with the whole world in his hands. Frank, of course, you're the man putting it all on. Thanks for this fight. Tee it up for us.
Well, it's a great fight. You know, it's a youth. It's one of the top up-and-coming fighters in Britain against Bradley Skeet, who was promoted by us for how many fights, Brad? It must be for at least 30 of those fights, wasn't it? 31 of those fights. Who's got nearly 3 times the amount of experience as a professional as Hamza's had. Hamza's had 13 fights now. This is a big step up for Hamza. He's obviously with us now, and he's been with us from the beginning of his career. I really, really do have high hopes for him, and I do believe in him as a fighter, and that's why we've made this match. This is going to be a bit of an acid test for him. Bradley, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying this is a fight from his perspective. He can't afford to lose this if he wants to get into another big fight. And for Hamza, he certainly won't want to be in a position where there's any hiccup in this or a bump in the road as far as this fight's concerned. Both got superb trainers. They've got great track records, the both of them, and I'm not going to go into all what they've done between them, but you know what they are. But the bottom line of all this is these are the fights that the fans want to see. These are the fights that you want to see up-and-coming, tremendous young prospects in. And that's what we're going to get on Saturday. And I think we're going to get something that's going to be a little bit special. And I think we've got in there a special young talent. And we've got in Bradley, the guy, if anybody's going to test that talent, is Bradley Skeet. So it's all set up, all ready for Saturday. And as I say, I think we're going to see something a little bit electric.
Frank, Bradley, you know, you said it yourself, he's been with Queensberry, with yourself, for many, many years. Really one of the flag bearers for Box Nation. He's now in the away corner on Saturday night. What are your emotions heading into that? Knowing that you're not really cheering for him to win, right?
Well, I mean, I'm be lying if I said I would. Bradley moved on, and Bradley, I hope we had some really great and really good times together. You know, Bradley was in the position Hamza was in his 13th fight. You look back at it, he was there, and he was being put in fights that tested him. And there were times when Bradley, when he really turned it on big time. Sometimes he looked, absolutely superb. But as you say, he moved on. He changed his trainers, he's changed his camp, he's trained, where he's based now, and he obviously feels that's for better, for the better for him. What he has got though, he's got experience, he's got a mature boxing mind now, and I'm quite sure he knows what he's going to be in for, as far as the new young buck is concerned on Saturday. And as regarding Hamza, I'm quite sure that he knows what he's got in front of him and he knows what he's got to do to get through this. He is, one of our top up and coming young stars, and we're going to see now if we've made the right decision in making this fight.
Well, let's bring Dominic Ingle in at this point. Dominic, widely seen, I think, as one of the best trainers in the country. When Bradley Skeet rocked up in Sheffield in the Winkerbank gym around a year ago, what made you think, do you know what, he's still got something left, let's go again?
Yeah, he sparred with the likes of Liam Williams, Kell Brook, and you could see he'd still got it. He got it with solid shots, he still had the timing, still had the speed. And you kind of know when you see kids of his age who've been out for a while sparring for that amount of time that generally they don't get it back. But he performed very well. And that's why I decided to work with him, because to be honest, it's no good flogging a dead horse in boxing. It's you can't revive, boxers once they're past it. And Bradley showed he's still got the determination, the speed, the timing to do it. And it's good because I've worked with Frank a lot of years, 30 odd years, and I found myself in this position a lot, being on the B-side card. And I'll go back to Andrew Facey against Matthew Macklin when he was coming through, and Andrew Facey beat him. And there's been another example, Paul Scrapper and Ryan John Thaxton, when there's a heavy favourite in the fight and we've upset the apple cart, come along and the underdogs won. And that's what makes boxing exciting, as Frank said. He gives us these opportunities. It's a sink or swim. He's thinking Hamza's just, peaking and Bradley's just on the slide. And we shall see on the night. He might be right, he might be wrong. And it's a gamble boxing. It could all go wrong. And that's what we're aiming to do.
How did we land on Hamza Shiraz? When Bradley first came back, I saw a few interviews declaring you were back, Bradley. There was talk of Conor Benn. I think Ted Cheeseman was mentioned as well. We've landed on Hamza Shiraz. From your perspective, Dom, how has that happened?
Well, to be honest, I got a call from Francis, and I was sat at the side of the ring sparring, and Brad was sparring. And he said, what about Bradley Skeet against this kid? And I'd looked at his record, I thought, he looks dangerous. Look at him, young kid, tall, can bang, punching everybody out. It's not really the fight that Bradley Skeet really needs at this point. He's been out two years. He's only had a comeback fight, 6 rounds. And I said to Francis, I'll give you a call back. And I sat and, dwelt on it a little bit. And then over the weeks, I saw what Bradley was doing in the gym with the guys who were coming up to spar him, some prospects as well. We're not giving too much away. And I thought, you know what, if he can be taking solid shots off these guys and he can be getting the top side of him in sparring, I know sparring. And he's at 11 stone now, not 10.5, so he's got a bit more strength. I thought, why not? And then we got a call again from Frank's office. And, Brad says, yeah, I've watched him. I'm confident I can win that fight. So I let him make the decision. He knows himself. He's been there. He's been around the block. And he said he ain't got enough experience for me. He's coming through, and it's going to be his youth and determination against my experience. And, that's where we're at.
Too much, too soon for Hamza Shiraz?
You never know, do you? It's one of those fights. Like I said, boxing's all about timing. I just go back to look at Nazim Ahmed got beat by Barrera, but Amir Khan beat him. But if you look on the record, it looks fantastic. Amir Khan beat, Barrera, who Nazim Ahmed couldn't beat, was well past his sell-by date. Is Brad past his sell-by date, or is Hamza ready for the challenge? That's what we're going to see. He's stepping up. He is stepping up. He's getting a slightly watered-down version of what Bradley Skeet was a few years ago, but it's for Brad to dig in and find that. And that's how matchmaking is. That's how it works out. Very rarely do you get two fighters really at the top of the game fighting each other. And, you know, it's like I say, it's a move up for Hamza on paper. And, you know, it's a time for Brad to reinvent himself.
Thank you, Dom. And look, if you hear anything you don't like, feel free to interject. Ricky, second camp now with Hamza Shiraz. You're with him every day. You're around him out in LA. You've been around some great fighters, Diego Corrales, these sorts of guys out in LA. Tell us the sort of talent that you've got on your hands there in Hamza Shiraz.
Well, you know, Hamza's a young prospect, a young fighter. There's a lot of potential for him. So, like we were saying, Skeet, you know, has the experience. So, I love challenge. And Hamza, 13-0, like they said, that doesn't really matter. And, well, you know, anything could happen. One punch could change the outcome of any fight. So I believe in Hamza a lot. I see a lot of skills. One main thing that I love about Hamza, I don't have to be around him every day. He's a disciplined fighter, well-spoken, carries himself well. I could leave water, food, anything he don't touch. Very disciplined. That's one of the main things that I believe in Hamza so much.
What does
and very smart.
Oh, very smart.
We're going to change his moniker to Dapper Hamza.
For 22 years old, let me tell you something, very, very smart.
I could do with that suit, to be honest, Hamza. What does Hamza Shiraz need to be wary of on Saturday night when it comes to Bradley Skeet?
Everything. Everything. We will prepare for anything. His experience, Skeet's experience is going to be, we can't overlook that. And I told Hamza, we got to be prepared for everything. We got a plan A to plan C. You know, if that C doesn't work, we go back to B and then A. So we don't want to overlook Skeet, you know. So, but the way I see things and the way I've seen Hamza train, especially with the world champions and the sparring partners that we've been having, Hamza's been getting a lot more experience than I think that he would be getting here in the UK, which it means a lot. But that doesn't change the outcome of it, what could happen in the fight. I just believe in Hamza so much, like I believed in the other fighters that I work with, like Brandon Rios, Corrales, Frankie Lyles, Gabriel Rafael Relas. You know, all that I learned through Joe Goosen, who's been my mentor and my teacher to this day. I stay in touch with him just 2 days ago and told him, hey, this is what's going on. He goes, okay, keep doing this, this, and this. And I'm going to keep going to the day of the fight, till we raise our hands at the end of the night.
Well, tell us how it's going to end then. How do you see
Say it again?
How do you see this fight ending? Obviously, the hands raised, but
I don't want to predict anything because anything could happen. You know, I don't want to sound foolish and say anything. You know, he got a great coach himself. I don't know much about Ingo, but you could see he has a lot of experience here in the UK. So me, I'm like Hamza. I'm a young puppy as well, you know.
a fairly diplomatic answer. Bradley Skeet. Thank you, Ricky. Bradley Skeet. Welcome back. Listen, we have seen this story so many times in the history of boxing. You have the young buck coming through, tearing up the division, knocking everyone out, and then he sees a scalp, he sees a name, he sees someone who's maybe in the twilight of their career, and he goes through them, and he goes on. Why is Saturday night any different?
Because it's
not always that way,
yeah,
is it, Brad?
It don't work like that. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Everyone keeps talking about experience. Forget the experience. I can fight. Like, I can fight. Do you know what I mean? I ain't won and got where I've got just having experience. I can fight. And that's all, like, yeah, I've got experience. I've had 32 fights. But people seem to forget I can fight. So that's what's got me where I've been and what I've done and achieved. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, listen, Hamza's, I've said it. I'm not going to sit here and badmouth him. I like him. He can fight. He's young, fresh champion. And I respect him for that. And I respect him for taking the fight. I've been banging on for an opportunity now, and Frank's obviously given me this opportunity. And this ain't Hamza's coming out party. All the big things being said of him, I appreciate and I believe. Do you know what I mean? But it's not his night on Saturday. He will come and do that. He's young, he's fresh. Do you know what I mean? He will do that. But my night is Saturday to get back where I need to be, get his belt, get back in them world rankings, and push on and with my career.
You said to me over there as we met at the start. You said, no more Mr. Nice Guy, Dev.
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
Angry Bradley Skeet. Tell us about the mindset.
I'm on it. They've moved away, obviously, moved up to Sheffield with Dom, training with Dom. I've been there over a year now. So yeah, just complete different. I'm not in my comfort zone. If I was coming back and just having a jolly up and just seeing, just the last roll of the dice, I would have been back with our iBox, which is 10 minutes from my house, living a life, do you know what I mean, comfortable in my comfort zone. I didn't want that. I've come back to get back to bigger and better. I'm not done with boxing yet. I've not achieved what I want and know I can achieve.
So this fight's at super welterweight. You were a huge welterweight. Your advantages really in that division was that you tended to be taller, bigger than everyone, kept them all at range. You're stepping up in weight and you're taking on a huge super welterweight. Where do you see your success coming in this fight?
Yeah, I wouldn't look at myself as being a small super welterweight like myself. Yeah, Hamza's very tall and ranging, and I wouldn't say he's big for the weight. He's like me as a welterweight. Do you know what I mean? I was very tall and rangy, but I think obviously he struggles to do the weight. He's massive for the weight, and that'd be a struggle. And I know what that was like at me getting down to welterweight. So I think the weight suits me better. I've moved up and I'm comfortable. I feel a lot stronger at the weight and much better at the weight.
Because a lot of this talk has been about you being like the name that Hamza Shiraz needs on his resume before he moves on. Do you feel a little disrespected heading into this, considering a former British champion, former Commonwealth champion, challenge for the European title, but you're being looked at as someone who's a little bit past it, and he's going to move on?
It's going to happen, ain't it? Listen, I've had, like I say, I've had 32 fights. I've been there and done it. I've boxed at a very high level, winning the British title. Not just winning the British title, I went on to defend it 3 times and win it outright. Not many people can say they've done that, do you know what I mean? And just experience alone don't get you that. You've got to be able to fight to do that. And like I say, yeah, I've got the experience. Yeah, he's young, he's fresh. That's what people keep banging on about. But I'm coming to fight, and I'm coming to win, do you know what I mean?
I can tell you're coming to fight. Listen, I'm going to ask you for a prediction, but I don't want you to water down what you've said in previous interviews, because in previous interviews you've said you're going to smash Hamza Shiraz's face in.
Yeah.
What's your prediction?
I'm going to cuddle him on Saturday, and I'm not coming in to have a little cuddle match, do you know what I mean? I'm sure he's coming to smash my face in. So that's my mindset now. I've got a lot of people to prove wrong, and there are a lot of people thinking, I've passed it, this is his last fight, or his last chance. No, I'm far from finished from boxing. I've had my break, I've had my time off, I've had a good rest, do you know what I mean? I needed it. I've got with Dom now, moved away. I'm fresh, I'm good, look at me, I'm fresh, I'm on it. Like, I ain't been like this before. I've never been up for a fight so much as this one. So I'm coming to smash his face in. Listen, I'm not saying it disrespectful. I like him. I think he's good and everything, but it's a fight. I'm not coming to cuddle him.
Okay, well, Hamza, he's coming to not cuddle you and respectfully smash your face in. Your thoughts?
Listen, I hope he does, to be honest with you. I hope he does, and I hope he meets me in the middle of the ring as well, because, listen, people are paying. I've got people coming to watch me, do you know what I mean? Hopefully we can put on an entertaining fight, and I'm looking forward to it, Dev.
People are talking about this version of Bradley Skeet, 34 years old, bit of inactivity, obviously came back and stopped a journeyman, but relatively inactive. Do you feel as though you would have beaten any version of Bradley Skeet?
100%. 100%. I could say that with a lot of faith in myself as well. But listen, I can do all the talking in the world, to be honest with you. I can say this, say that. We're 2 days away from the fight now. So listen, come Saturday night, I'm putting a good performance and hopefully get a knockout victory.
Let me just say something, Dev. This version, that version of me, 2 years, 3 years ago, however long it was, they wouldn't have dreamed of mentioning mine and his name together. Frank wouldn't even have dreamed of putting him in with me. So you can't say that. That version of me back then, you know, I've been there and done it. They wouldn't have dreamed of putting him in with me.
Any thoughts, Hamza?
Not really. Like I said, 2 days away from the fight now. 2 days. I'm not really one to go and run my mouth and everything. We're here. Look, I've got this far doing what I've done, knocking people out. Do you know what I mean? I'm on, I think, a 6 or 7 fight knockout streak. Come Saturday night, hopefully he'll be the 8th one.
Do you relish this, that this is the first fight really where there's a few questions here and there?
Yeah, there's going to be, isn't there? Listen, he's had more knockouts than I've actually had fights. So if you look at it like that, on terms of paper and everything, it's like, oh shit, what they're doing now. But listen, I'm more than confident in myself. I'm more than confident in myself. And it's a brilliant fight. It's a brilliant fight on paper, and it's going to be a brilliant fight in the ring as well. I know he's saying that 3 years ago they wouldn't mention my name in the same as his. Yeah, that's because I was what? How many fights did I have then?
You were about 12 years old, weren't you?
I was watching him then. I was ringside when he beat Shane Singleton. I was ringside. So listen, obviously you weren't going to mention my name then, but listen, it's funny how your career plays out. Listen, me and him, we're mentioning the same name now, and now we're fighting Saturday night.
And you, as you said, you were on his undercard before. You sparred him as a 17-year-old. You probably looked up to him a little bit, right, as you were coming through, and now this fella here is standing in your way. What are the emotions heading into this fight, considering you probably looked up to him once?
Listen, there ain't much emotions at the end of the day, because it ain't nothing personal. It's business at the end of the day, do you know what I mean? But he is in front of me, and he is trying to take food off my plate, so I've got to get him out there, and I've got to get him out there in devastating fashion.
Bradley, anything you want to say to Hamza Shiraz ahead of your face-off and then weigh-in tomorrow night? Here he is.
We're here to fight, that's it. Listen, there's no animosity, no disrespect. I'm coming to smash your face in, you're coming to smash mine in. Like I say, you got a lot of people coming, I've got a lot of people coming. Let's have a good fight.
That's it. Looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it.
Frank, final word from you on this one. This mouth-watering chief support, two of boxing's nice guys coming to smash each other's faces in.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good fight, and there's going to be a great atmosphere there. There's no doubt about that. And as I always say, the people who will benefit will be the fans and the viewers. It could be a good fight.
Tune in Saturday night from 7:30. We're going to do a quick face-off down the front here with Hamza and Bradley, and then we will move on to the main press conference for Anthony Yarde and Lyndon Arthur. Big rematch. Thank you. See you in a mo. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is it. This is the main event Saturday night live on BT Sport from the Copper Box Arena. Lyndon Arthur against Anthony Yarde. Big rematch. They fought to a split decision for Lyndon Arthur almost a year ago to the day that they're going to do it again. The WBO Intercontinental title is on the line. The Commonwealth light heavyweight title is on the line. There's a whole lot of pride at stake as well, and it's a real cracker. With me, of course, on the top table, I have Tunde Ajayi, ever outspoken, the colourful trainer, of course, of Mr. Anthony Yarde, former world title challenger, the beast from the east, the man seeking revenge on Saturday. Across the other side of the table, we have the former British and European champion, Pat Barrett, now turned trainer, of course, of Lyndon King Arthur. Unbeaten Commonwealth and WBO Intercontinental champion and #1 with the WBO. With me, the Hall of Fame boxing promoter who made the first fight happen. He's made the rematch happen. Frank Warren. Frank, a wonderful fight to end the year for Queensberry domestically.
Oh, it's a fantastic fight. And you forgot to add that Lyndon's ranked #1 by the WBO. So this virtually, the winner of this fight will get the winner of Joe Smith v. Callum Johnson that's taking place in January. So that's what's on the table. So there's a lot at stake, more at stake for this fight than there was for the first one. And as we know, the first one took place behind closed doors. It was a good fight. It didn't quite spark as I expected it to, but it still was a good fight. Very close fight. I thought Lyndon won the first fight in a very close fight. But I think this fight's going to be different for many reasons. One, because of what I've just said is at stake. There's more at stake now. And it's in front of a live audience. So they know each other well enough now. They've shared a ring for 12 rounds. Who's learnt the most from that first fight? You know, tactically, who's going to change the tactics from the first fight? Who's going to adapt? You know, in the first fight, Lyndon said he had a hand injury. Anthony felt he won the fight. He didn't get his shots off like he felt he should have done. But you know what? They're all the things that happened in the last fight. In this fight, for both of them, is the chance to put right whatever they felt didn't happen for them in the first fight. So I think we got something special. I think this time round, this is going to spark. I think we're going to see something a little bit special on Saturday night between these two extremely good quality world-class fighters. And I am, again, extremely looking forward to it.
And that crowd, how much of a difference is that crowd going to make? The first fight was quite a sterile kind of atmosphere. Well, there was no atmosphere apart from Sonny Edwards. You could hear him every now and again.
I think Sonny, to be fair to Sonny Edwards, he made up for the crowd, didn't he? I mean, he was there. He was very, very vocal. But look, that's past. That's gone. That's done. Where we are now is Saturday night. We're here on Thursday. We're 2 days away. Saturday night is going to be the acid test for the both of them.
Well, I want to start with the trainers just because they played a significant part in the development of both of these guys, and no doubt they'll play a significant part on Saturday. And we all saw, of course, the first press conference too. So, Tunde, I just want to start with you. Welcome. I want to put a comment to you. You can defend it, you can retract it, you can say whatever you like. But I want to put it out there, and you can say what you like to it. And you were talking about Pat, and you said he may have been in boxing longer, but as a trainer, he hasn't done what I've done. Maybe that's where the jealousy has come from. What did you mean by that? Can you elaborate at all?
Well, first of all, let me thank the media and the Associated Press that have come today, taking their time out to be here. I'll be honest with you, Dev. That's really not my focus. Saturday night is the main focus for me. I'm not here to discuss Pat Barrett, his achievements, what he's done, or even what I've done in the sport. This is, as Frank put it at the last press conference, this is war. No talking. Sometimes talking can get you far. And it has done for many people. But there comes a point where you're going to have to show what it is. And myself and Anthony, we haven't done too much talking. to get us to this point, and I feel that it's incumbent on us to continue showing, as I said, those that have come from a certain environment, how to conduct themselves when you get to a certain level of the sport. And in that respect, next question.
Next question is, obviously, you received a fair bit of stick after the last fight. Do you feel as though you've grown in the last year, and you've watched the first fight back, as I'm sure Anthony has, and looked at any mistakes that you've made on your side, and you've come back stronger?
Everything is a lesson, and absolutely. There has been a lot of growth, development, evolving for myself, not only myself, but for the team, you know, because we're very analytical in our preparation, and have always been. And so, absolutely, 100%, there's been growth. But as I say, not only for me, for everyone.
There was a lot of talk about Lyndon Arthur's jab at the end of the last fight. What do you think about it?
The fundamentals of boxing is a jab. Some people focus on it, and it, you know, if you look at it in terms of a person's arsenal, it's a great shot. It's a shot that starts a combination and ends a combination. But Anthony Yarde can do everything. And I feel on Saturday, you will see that. You will see something special. Anthony Yarde could jab. He's got a good right hand. He's got a good left hook. He's got a good left uppercut. He's got a good right uppercut. He's got a good left hook to the body, and he's got a good right hook to the body. So we ain't focused on one man's asset. We got assets. And they could end up being liabilities for the opponent.
How is this Anthony Yarde different to the one from a year ago?
Different day. It's just different, you know. The young man has evolved, not only in boxing, but within himself, I feel, being an onlooker. And it's exciting. You know, I remember sitting on the ring apron for our first title fight, the Southern area, and Frank, after the interview, after the fight, saying that you can't compare Anthony to Nigel Benn. He is Anthony Yarde. He's special. And we're going to see that. I believe we're going to see how special Anthony Yarde is on Saturday night.
All right, thanks, Tunde. Feel free to interject. We all have mics in front of us. Pat, Anthony Yarde has added to his camp. He's got an additional trainer, additional set of eyes in James Cook. With you guys, it's the same team, same dream. What do you make of Yarde adding to his camp?
I think that's a very good choice. James Cook is a very respectable fighter. I watched James Cook coming up. He come up the hard way. He knows boxing. He knows what it's like to come from the bottom, to make it to the top. He's a credible trainer. I mean, really and truly, James Cook should be sat up here on the table discussing about Anthony, because that's what they brought him in for, but unfortunately he's not. If you ask me about him, do I think he's good? Yeah, I think he's very good. I even watched him when he had that, the bantamweight Napa. I thought he was a very good trainer then. So yeah, I mean, but it's kind of like Man City. You have so many managers before you can find the right one, before they could gel. And I just don't think it's enough time in the camp to say it's going to change him, because it's not about physical attributes, it's about mental attributes. And where me and Lyndon, we've grown together, and the gelliness has already been there. I've watched Lyndon grow up from a kid to be a man, to be the fighter he is today. So if talking about changes, the only changes I do with Lyndon is make him better. Talking about I want the Yarde is going to come. I mean, I know the way they're going to come, because all they talk about is knocking people out. And to me, I mean, it's very good. I respect Anthony as a fighter, very good fighter. He's a world-class fighter. He's good at everything he does, just like what Tunde says. But, you know, as he says, attributes, if you think we're just thinking of the one thing, that's the jab. It's like he said, The jab is a master key. It opens everything up. The funny thing is, they don't respect Lyndon's punching power, and that's going to be the downfall, because what you got to realise, Lyndon's capable of doing more than one thing. He's intelligent in the ring. He can hold the pace when he wants to hold it. He can drop it when he wants to drop it. He can control it. He's good at distancing. He's got everything what it takes as a world-class level. And so what you got to realise, trying to knock somebody out can also get you knocked out yourself. As you see with the Lopez fight, you know, sometimes the aggression can be reversed. So you've got to be smart in the boxing ring. So my advice is to listen to James and stop with the attitude you're going to knock people out and become more of a thinker.
And Anthony, at any point you can feel free to interject there. Another question for Pat, unless you've got anything to say in response to Pat, Anthony?
No, I feel like, you know, you're asking people questions, so I let people answer their questions and I'll wait for my turn.
All right, Pat, the other thing here is, and Anthony, you've gone on record saying this, you have referred to Lyndon Arthur as a boring fighter. Pat, what's your response to that?
No, there's no response. He's entitled to have an opinion. Come on now, I can't shut a man for having an opinion. That's, you know, I mean, it's a boring fighter that beat him, really. So, you know, it doesn't say much for yourself, really. You know what I mean? You're an entertainer, and you can't say you're an entertainer if you're not knocking people out and doing as you're saying. And again, it's not because what you didn't do, it's about what Lyndon did do. You know what I mean? So, you know, this fight, that fight, what happened before is in the past. If we forget about that, this is a different day, and this is where it matters. And again, I agree with what Tunde said. It's about this Saturday. You know, the past is the past, and we forget about that, and we go back to the drawing board and we start all over again. This is going to be a total different Yarde. I'm aware of that. I can see it, I feel it, but this is also a total different Lyndon. You know what I mean? So.
Well, Anthony, you've watched the first fight back. We've talked about it. I know it was in the past, but that's the data that we have to reflect on. Lyndon obviously won the fight. Do you think he won because of what he did or because of what you didn't do?
Again, just like Tony said, thanks for everyone for coming. You didn't actually need to be here, taking time out of your day or whatever, but thanks for coming. Thanks for the promotion and everything. I think it's a mixture, you know. I'm not going to take anything away from Lyndon because he clearly done his job. You know, he stayed on the back foot, popped the jab, stayed on the move, didn't engage, and 100% is me. More than what he did, it's me. And I think people can see that, you know. Everyone was just waiting for me to put on the gas. And it was literally just decision making. And you saw it in the last round. When I went for it, it was a completely different fight. And my mindset at the time was, it's the 12th round now, you know. You don't have to, you've been the 12 rounds, you know. You could put the gas on now. You could put on you can go through throttle. And, you know, it was just bad decision making, bad timing. And my mindset was not there for the fight. I've said this time and time again. I do not make excuses. I was heated straight after the fight. But again, you can't reverse anything. You just got to go in there and take opportunities. The next one you get.
But there was talk of a boxing masterclass from Lyndon Arthur after that first fight. There was a lot of talk about his fantastic jab and how well he used it. Do you feel as though he got too much credit?
Well, no, you know, he got the decision. You know, it was a split decision. You know, this happens in boxing where there's mixed opinions. One judge gave it to me by, I think, more than 4 or 5 rounds. And then 2 of the judges gave it to him by 1 round. So it's just perspective. You know, it depends how you see the fight. At the time, I thought I won the fight. You know, they thought it was a close fight. Going back and watching it again from a different angle, I thought it was a closer fight as well. You know, I'm not up here to bullshit nobody or lie about anything. You know, I'm a realist. And you cannot progress and get better if you're not honest with yourself. So when I watched the fight back, you know, I was looking at myself, shaking my head, saying, this is shit. I kept saying it over and over again. I was like, what am I doing? Like, what am I actually doing? But again, I was going through a lot. My mind was not in boxing at all. And obviously people will probably understand that. But I'm a person, I don't make excuses. And it's all about this Saturday, 2 days away.
2 days away. Look, you're a real sort of seek and destroy kind of fighter. We've seen that. If you go the distance, does that actually work against you that you are that type of fighter? Because if Lyndon Arthur's still there at the end of 12 rounds, surely that means you weren't able to do your job. Therefore, it's probably going to go his way. What do you think?
And I think that's the perception. You know, if I don't go out there and destroy somebody, the perception is, you know, they're doing something, or, you know, they won the round, or. But again, I can't have that in my head, because, as Pat said, you know, this is boxing, and Pat knows I'm not stupid. I'm not a fighter. You've never seen me go in a boxing ring and just go and start swinging. For my professional debut, they said, "Oh, you got power, you know." Steve Bunch used to say it all the time. It's actually respectable that you don't just go out there and rely on your power. I don't fight like that. But again, everyone's in the 12th round more of what I'm capable of. Everyone knows what I'm capable of, and you'll see a better version of me this Saturday.
Has he taken your best shot?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know, anyone that's watched the first fight, I will repeat it over and over again. It was shit. And again, there's no disrespect when I'm saying Lyndon's a boring fighter, because sometimes boxing ain't entertaining, but I'm an entertaining fighter. That's how I like to fight. I like to entertain the crowd. Thank God we got the crowds back. Everyone here hopefully can be in attendance. It wasn't like that last time. It's just different. Atmosphere is different. You know, even the pressure is different. Everything is different when you walk out into the crowd and you hear roaring and cheering, and, you know, you feel vibrations from the crowd. It's completely different, so that's what I'm looking forward to most.
Well, completely different on Saturday night. Lyndon Arthur, you are the unbeaten, reigning and defending champion. We're hours away now. There's not much talking left to do, but we're going to do a little bit. So I've got to ask you, are you just looking forward to getting this Anthony Yarde chapter of your career closed, getting it out the way and moving on to world honours? Is that what's on your mind?
It's not so much of getting out of the way. It's just this, like I said in interviews before, he's been a good dance partner for me. So at this part of my career, this is probably the best fight financially and best fight, like, to get me out there again, so to speak. So it's not a case of seeing the back of him, because it's been fun. It's been the first fight was my coming out party, and then this will kind of cement it. So it's not really what you just said is what it is. It's part of the journey of my journey of this boxing.
He said, no disrespect, but you're a boring fighter. I'm paraphrasing Anthony. Are you okay with that?
That's completely cool, because, you know, a boring fighter won. All I need to do is win. I don't need to listen to what he's saying or listen to what they're saying. It is what it is. If they think I'm boring, again, like Pat said, everyone's entitled to an opinion. It's a sport. We're a public sport. Everyone in this room has an opinion on me and on him. Whether they like me or whether they like him, it's down to them. I don't care. If I'm boring, I'm boring. I'll win boring, and I'll keep winning. So.
Well, this time there's a crowd. So does that have any impact on the way you fight? For example, say you go 6 rounds and you're not throwing the right hand and you're just jabbing, and they start maybe booing a little bit. Does that mean you start taking more chances? Does that mean you fight a little differently? Does it benefit him that there's a crowd?
I'm going to answer that.
Thank you.
And I mean this with the greatest respect. I've never been anywhere where he's been booed, you know, so... I mean, it's a good question. You know, it's a question that you asked and whatever. But you know, I've not been anywhere where he's been booed. You know, this is a tough fight, a tough fight, and they both acknowledge they got to adapt. And sorry, I'll interrupt you, but there you go.
It's all right.
So yeah, does it benefit Anthony? Does it benefit you at all having the crowd there? Obviously, both have to adapt, as you say.
We'll find out on Saturday. I don't think it does. I don't think it benefits. We're both fighters. He believes it benefits him. From what he's saying, I don't care. It's a fight. Again, the crowd can't get in there. They can scream, they can shout, and it's what it is. It'll make a fun atmosphere, but
they're going to make a huge difference. Of course, the crowd will make a difference. You know, it does. The atmosphere will make a difference. You know, I'm not saying, you know, a lot of guys fall in the sterile atmosphere of behind closed doors, and there were some great fights behind closed doors. There were some good fights, but everybody acknowledges when you've got a crowd there, it puts more energy into it. Absolutely, there'd be more energy. What I found with behind closed doors with the so-called red corner fighters, you got more out of them. But this is in front of going to be quite a, it's going to be a heaving atmosphere. It's going to be a great atmosphere, and it'll get the best out of both these guys. There's no doubt about it.
But I had Sonny there anyway, so like you said, he was like a crowd.
Sorry?
I had Sonny anyway, so he was like a crowd.
You've got Sonny, and he's like a crowd. Listen, I watched back the face-offs the other day, not the one with Carl Frampton. I mean, at the end of press conferences where you guys go nose to nose or COVID 2 meters. But the first one, Anthony was sort of joking around a little bit, and you both seemed to be quite jovial and having a laugh somewhat. You were there to fight, but it was quite light-hearted. Last time, there was a bit of jawing, a little bit of back and forth. Anthony Yarde said, "You're scared, you're nervous, you're acting up." I think you were saying, "What, do you like me? Do you like me?" Because he kept looking at you. Has the whole demeanour changed between you two? What's your thoughts, Lyndon?
It's entertainment, innit? It's just the business part of this is Saturday. So anything before that, it's just fun up until we're getting the ring across from each other, in my opinion.
Frank, you want to interject?
Saturday's war. Careers are on the line on Saturday. The winner of Joe Smith and Callum Johnson, that's what's at stake on Saturday. You know, they could be the best mates outside the ring. Once that bell goes, reality is set in. Their career, the next stage of their career, the next move, the world title fight, that's there. That's the big carrot. That's what's dangling. And the one who wants it the most is going to get it. And the only way you're going to get it, you've got to give everything. And that's what they're going to both have to give. They're going to have to adapt from the last fight. Both of them have to adapt. You know, as I said just now, Anthony said things he should have done differently. Lyndon said in the past he couldn't throw his right hand. Whatever happened in the past is irrelevant now. There is much more at stake for these guys. Much more at stake. And this is a big moment in both of their careers.
Well, look, Lyndon, I just want to ask you one final thing before we go around for final statements. At the end of the first fight, I interviewed you backstage, and I said, "I'm sure you've made your son proud tonight." And you said you didn't let him watch. You told his mum, "Don't let him watch, just in case there's a knockout, in case you get knocked out." Is he watching on Saturday?
He might be watching at home. I don't know. He's a little bit older now. He's 7. He's got a bit more character about him. He wanted to watch. He wanted to come, but like I said, Ant is a dangerous opponent. And to say that I'm not aware of the fact that you can get knocked out in a boxing fight, then I'll be stupid. So I wouldn't have him here. But not through me getting knocked out. I just don't think my son should see me in a fight where I might take more punches than I would like him to see. Okay. But I'm prepared for that, though.
All right, let's go around for final statements then. Tunde Ajayi. Pat Barrett said earlier he thought maybe James Cook should be up here instead of yourself. This is your man heading into Saturday night. Give us your final thoughts.
Well, kudos to James. I will say this with regard to James. I feel like we were a ship without a rudder. And I feel James has really brought cement to our team. And yes, Pat is definitely right. He should be up here, but I guess there was limited spaces. On the fight, I'm a bit of a philosopher. And I just really want to make a statement to young kids that come from the environments that Anthony and Lyndon come from, and to tell them to, you can get to this stage as well. Work hard, believe in yourself, focus your attention into positive things, and it doesn't necessarily have to be boxing. But if you work hard, as I always say, dream it, believe it, become it. Saturday night, live on BT Sports. Get your popcorn, your biscuits.
Don't forget your chocolate.
And your chocolate.
And your ice cream.
And your ice cream. Häagen-Dazs. Sorry.
You got to weigh in tomorrow.
And it's going to be a great night. And please, Don't be one of the millions of people that say I should have been there, or I missed that fight. It's going to be an electric atmosphere. Frank has, I'm going on, but Frank will tell you after the last fight, I literally phoned him crying, and I said, Frank, please, I beg, that wasn't us, you know. And Frank has done what he always done. He's worked his magic, and Saturday night we have an opportunity. Anthony has an opportunity to show you why, in my opinion, he's a superstar.
Thank you, Tunde. Pat Barrett, let's get a final statement from yourself. Heading into Saturday night, Lyndon Arthur, he's unbeaten. He's got that #1 spot with the WBO. There's a world title shot within his grasp. What are your thoughts, and how do you think this fight's going to go?
Well, first of all, I just want to say, don't think that we're not going into this fight with no respect for Yarde and his camp, because we are, as we did the first time. We've never overlooked him. And funny enough, I've always, from Lyndon, came to Frank, and we came into the office. I wanted to get this fight out of the way from the beginning. And Frank will tell you, it was the first thing that I asked Frank for, was this fight. Because from when we joined with Frank, I always kept an eye on Yarde, because I knew that this day was going to happen. So to me, it's what we always prepared for. Styles make fights, okay? And I've always prepared Lyndon for the Yardes of the world, you know, the big punches, the guys that come forward, the guys that are going to try and take certain things away from you. So to me, it's what it is. It's what we work for. It's what we're there for. And if Lyndon can't beat Yarde, then he shouldn't be asking for the world title fight. And I suppose that's vice versa. So it is the sport. It is the way it is. But, you know, I've got to be biased and say we prepared and covered every angle for this fight. And it's all down. The only way Lyndon can lose this fight is if he beats himself and not doing and sticking to the game plan. Simple.
Thank you, Pat. Anthony Yarde, so the only way Lyndon can lose this fight is if he doesn't stick to his game plan and if he beats himself. What says you?
In response to what you just said, if my punches start raining, you can't stop the rain. You know what that's from, really?
I do.
You can't stop the rain when it starts to pour. If I let my hands go, I don't even need to say anything, but it's not even if, because there's going to be a time in the fight when I let my hands go. Similar to the last round, but it's going to be a lot better. My mind is clear for this fight. You can just see it. I can feel it. Pat said he can feel it. I know Lyndon can probably feel it as well. Tune in Saturday. It's 2 days away. It's not long now. Set your reminders on your TV if you can't be there. If you're coming to the venue, roaring, screaming, little noise, big atmosphere. This one's going to be good.
Well, Lyndon, you've been serenaded, your head's down. I don't think your singing was that bad. You've been serenaded, and he said that you can feel it. You can feel that this is a different Anthony Yarde. And those punches, if they start raining in, you're in trouble. What do you think?
Please don't sing no more, brother. Boxing is probably a better option. It is what it is. Let's go Saturday. It's 2 days away. We haven't got long to wait now. Everyone here and everyone that's waiting for this fight to happen. Please, please.
When it starts to
Tunde, anything to add? Any bars to add? Do you want to sing?
Going back to the road.
I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to ruin it. And he set the stage, and talk is cheap. Let's go Saturday night.
Okay, Lyndon, I don't think you said your sort of final word. What?
It is what it is. Let's go Saturday. Innit?
Let's go
It's
Saturday.
time now. Pointless talking all this bullshit is.
Let's go.
Let's face off and go back.
Let's hear from Frank before we go, though. Frank, Saturday night. I mean, they're up for it. They can both sing. Well, he can sing a little bit, I think.
Saturday night's all right for fighting, and that's what we're going to have on Saturday night. We have a big fight. This is going to be something special. Two guys in there got a lot to prove, and as I keep saying, they're going to get a world title shot. The winner gets a world title shot. Don't need no more than that. That in itself will make it a great fight.
Well, there you have it. Very, very limited tickets left. I warned you in the first press conference this would happen and they'd fly. There's only a handful left. Get them if you can. If not, tune in 7:30 BT Sports Saturday night. Lyndon Arthur, Anthony Yarde, one of the most anticipated rematches of the year. Do not miss it. We're going to do a face-off now, and we'll see you Saturday.
Frank, just want to say that just for a few.
You sing?
No. Am I going to sing?
Go on, Frank. Let's
You ready, boys? You all good for this? What have I got this for? I don't know
What is it for? I don't understand either.
Okay, it's getting a bit tighter. All good? Right, face off. Had looking all day. All good.
Yeah, come on.
War on the floor. We're going to see a really good quality fight.
Big man decides it. Big man decides it. Big man can fight it, but the Lord knows it and why if you try it.
You said last time Yarde was going to knock Lyndon out.
You've made up this story in your head about this spectacular jab. You won by 1 point.
You've had a problem from day one.
You ain't punching nothing. I'm this close from going back to the road. That's it.
Any
That's the
closing
energy.
comments, Pat? Any?
I believe I'm going to win, whether it's a grueling war, whether it's a boxing lesson.
It's just by domination. I wouldn't even say by knockout. If he survives it, he survives it. I'll give him credit.
The writing's on the wall. Whoever wins this is going to go into a world title.
This is a real crossroads for both of them.
Lion! Shut up.
Big man can fight it, but the Lord knows it and why if you try it.